A very good morning, sir. Am I audible? Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
You are audible, Madhurima.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think sir has some network issues because he has been having it. Okay, so very good morning to our respected director, sir, from the Ashadi Wisdom Campus, Sri Lanka, and also to our guest speaker for today, Professor Dr. Saigita Chitruru, who is a faculty from the Center. So, without much ado, because the session is supposed to start from 11, now we will start the session. So, on behalf of the Department of Gender Studies and Social Studies, I, Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, who is the head of the department from Ashadi Wisdom Campus, Sri Lanka, welcomes all of you to another 11th webinar on a very pertinent issue on aging and gender. So today, our guest of honor and our resource person is none other than Professor Dr. Saigita Chitturu from the very prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. So to introduce Dr. Saigita Chitturu, she is presently a faculty member at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences in the Center for Lifelong Learning, where she anchors the gerontology and youth leadership program. She has more than 20 years of experience in teaching, training, research, and development. Since joining TIS in 2006 with the Training, Orientation, and Research Department, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, she has also developed numerous academic and training programs at various levels. Dr. Chitturu has also prepared compendiums and training resources on youth issues, gerontology, leadership, and related topics for TIS and Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, NYKS. She has engaged in multiple research projects and collaborations with international organizations, NGOs, government bodies, and academic institutions. Her areas of research include lifelong learning, adolescent and youth development, leadership, gerontology, aging issues, training technology, crime prevention, and life skills. She has even received the Bharat Vikas Award for Youth Leadership, Educator Excellence Award, followed by the Distinguished Achievement Award. So without much ado, I would like to welcome our guest speaker for today, Dr. Saigita Chittaru, who will be enlightening all of us on the issue of aging and gender. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for your kind words, Professor Madhurima, and also a big thank you to Professor Avindu for having me here for the seminar. And from what I understand is this seminar is for your students. And if I can request whoever is present here in this room, in the Zoom room, if they can open their video cameras, at least for some time, so that I can see who you are, because it will also facilitate, the interactions that we will have in a 40 minutes time. So if it is possible, some of you can open your videos and, can interact with me. So, so I'm here to present aging and the gender dynamics that it involves. Let me start sharing my presentation with you. So also since Professor Madhurima has introduced me, I also want to tell you about the center that I belong to, and the center is Center for Lifelong Learning. This is an adult and continuing education and extension arm of any universities, and it falls under the umbrella of lifelong learning, where different thematic areas can be, engaged with. So what we are doing currently in the center is that we run youth-based, youth-centric programs. We run gerontology-related programs. We are experts in participatory training methodology, facilitation skills, dance movement therapy, counseling skills. So these are some of the programs that we offer from our campus, other than the other collaborations that we have. So this was a short introduction. Let me put my slideshow. I hope this is visible to everyone. So I'm going to talk on aging and gender dynamics, and I also invite you to participate in the discussion that we will have it now. So I'm putting down some questions for us to reflect and to see whether it is a myth or a reality. So maybe I would want some of your responses. Even if you can't open your videos, you can use chat boxes, although I will not be able to see the chat boxes and respond. So do you think that older women are no longer productive? Is it a myth or a reality? What do you think? Are older women not productive? How do you perceive this? Is it a myth or a reality? So it is a myth, definitely, isn't it? I can't hear you. Sorry. I think there is internet lag either from your side or my side.
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes, clear.
Yes. Ma'am, I was saying that only, that I think it's a myth, because maybe that they are not physically very much active, but mentally they are very much, because we can get through their experiences and everything. So
Yeah, even physically, I would say, even physically they can contribute. Aren't there caregiving people? They are the primary caregivers of our family, isn't it? So they
yes,
are
ma'am.
contributing meaningfully in caregiving. They're doing community work, mentorship, even paid employment. You will see in informal sector, many older women are there selling vegetables, foodstuffs, etc. So they are very productive. What do you perceive and how do you perceive men? Do you perceive men age better than women? Is it a myth or a reality? Men age better than women. How do you perceive this? So this is again a myth, because the reality is that this myth, which is that men age better than women, stems from the sexist beauty standards, isn't it? Aging definitely affects different people differently, regardless of gender. And the health outcomes are usually linked to lifestyles and access to care. So this is a myth again. Older men don't need emotional support. What do you say? Do they need support or not? Older men, do they need emotional support?
I think yes.
Of course, they do, isn't it? Because they also struggle with loneliness, issues of mental health, loss of identity, especially post, retirement. So they also need emotional support. All older people are the same. How is this phrase? Is it reality? All older people are same? Is it a homogeneous group?
No, ma'am, no, not at
No,
all.
it is exactly. So it is not a homogeneous group. Different gender, class, caste, religion, urban, rural divide, economic, disparities. All these intersections are there, and therefore all older people are not the same. And because of this disparities and because of this diversity, accessibility and opportunities also for older people are different. Yeah, and gender plays a big dynamics here. Once you retire, your productive life is over. How many of you feel the same?
No, ma'am, myth, it's a myth.
Yeah. So retiring from your professional, job or work doesn't mean that your productive life is over. There are so many things out there that you can do even if you retire. I have
Yes,
seen
ma'am.
people volunteering, mentoring, caregiving, participating in, civic area. So there's so much that you can do post retirement, isn't? So this is again a myth. So now let us understand the global silver wave scenario that we are witnessing. And here is this small graphical representation of it. Uh, and this is how the world's population is aging. So the world is becoming, is hosting more and more older adults. It's becoming larger and bigger. So what do you see in the graph? When you see the left part of the graph, it shows children under the age of 5 in the orangish, shade. So in the earlier days, before 2018, the trend of children growing under the age of 5 was, very high. But in 2018, what happened is the number of people above 65 years of age outnumbered the population of children under age 5 for the first time. So this, you see, and this is global scenario. It's not about South Asia. It's not just Sri Lanka or India. It's a global phenomenon. Now, what is the projection? Come to the right part of the graph. So in 2050, it is said that, I mean, now it has just crossed, both the sections intersected in 2018. But now in 2050, what is going to happen is the number of people, the percentage of people above 65 years is going to double the number of children under the age of 5, which means that because of low fertility rate, less number of children will be out there and more number of aging population is going to be the phenomenon. What is going to happen in 2100? So the number of people aged 65 and above will be 5 times higher than the number of children under the age of 5. So this trend is going to continue it is largely irreversible. And the number of people over 65 is going to rise in each and every country, and it will continue to do so. Does that scares you? Seeing and thinking that the whole globe, the whole world will become an aging country, an aging world. Does that scare you? Or do you think that it is a triumph of development? Do you feel that it is an achievement for us? What do you
No,
think?
ma'am, because working class will be very less, so I think that that might be a problem.
There can be challenges, definitely, but don't you think that it is a triumph of development because we have progressed so much, because the medical advancement, because of diseases that we have controlled, because of prevention of injury. So this
Oh,
is
that's why.
actually, yeah,
No, ma'am, you say.
yeah. So many people, many researchers, many theorists, many policymakers are saying that aging is not a crisis. It is a triumph of development. Only thing is that we need to plan and adapt effectively. Okay. So we need to shift the narrative from burden to opportunity by investing in healthy aging, lifelong learning, elder-friendly infrastructure, and inclusive policy. Definitely, there is going to be an impact on socio-economic and political aspects when aging is on rise. However, we need to turn this opportunity into a very positive aspect by investing in healthy aging, because this is going to be the reality. So how are you going to use this opportunity of many older adults in the globe is up to us. So as I said, that population aging is said to be a human success story. It reflects public health, it reflects medicine, it reflects advancement in social development and also economics. It is contributing to disease control and injury prevention. So human longevity has increased, especially because of the medical intervention, and the fertility rates have decreased. And this is the reason why the global population is aging. So what are the four major trends that we are seeing now? One is the population growth, one is population aging. Third phenomenon is urbanization. More and more you will find elderly people residing in urban places. That is again going to have some implications. And then international migration is another phenomenon that is witnessed now. So all these trends are important and very critical for us to understand from the perspectives of sustainable development goals. Now, what are the linkages of population aging to sustainable development goals? So there are many sustainable development goals which are related and very relevant when we are discussing or having a discourse on gender and especially aging and gender. So the first one is is on eradicating poverty, which is SDG 1, Sustainable Development Goal 1. Then Sustainable Development Goal 3 ensures healthy lives and well-being of all ages. Then I'm sure you are aware of SDG 5, which is about promoting gender equality. Then SDG 8 refers to full and productive employment and decent work for all. That is SDG 8. Then reducing inequalities is another important SDG 10, one of the Sustainable Development Goals. It also has implications to SDG 11, which is to do with making cities and human settlements. It talks about how do we make inclusive and safe, resilient and sustainable environment for people around us. So you see there are a number of SDG goals which are so relevant, and therefore it is so important to understand and talk about population aging. Let us understand some scenario of scenario in Asia. So in Asia, what is going to happen is the proportion of elderly is expected to increase from 13.7% to 35.7%. So statistics are important. Data is important because then, it gives immediately tells us what are we supposed to do? What is the action that we need to take? Now, in East Asia, the proportion of older adults is expected to be 39.2% by 2050. Japan, 43%. Republic of Korea, 46.4%. China is 38.8%. May be expected to report the highest proportions of elderly population by 2050. Now, what will happen to SAARC countries? So within SAARC countries, if you see, Bangladesh is going to rise, and this is a projected figure by 2050. Bangladesh will rise by 21.3%, Bhutan 23.8%, Maldives 34.1%, Sri Lanka is 27%, while for India it is 20%. Because India is a young country at the moment. For us, the median age is something 28.44, I believe. While for Sri Lanka, the median age is 33.33. So, so when you see India is a little behind, and we still have the window of opportunity to actually think about this population and to see what is going to be the action plan and how are we going to address the needs of the growing needs of elderly population. So so for us, for Indians, it will be moderate with regards to the other SAARC countries. But if you see the World Population Prospectus 2022 report, it says that the bigger and stronger economies like Japan, China, Indonesia, and Vietnam will be experiencing high growth of elderly population in the future. And see what they say. They say that it will go beyond 40% of their total population. And in the advanced countries, hello, Hiratan, you can close your mic for some time.
Respondents are requested to kindly mute yourself for the speaker to speak. Thank you.
So this is going to be huge. 40% of total population will be the scenario in the advanced economies. So as I already said, India and Sri Lanka's case scenarios that India will have by 2020, 1% in every fifth or 5 people will be 60 plus, and Sri Lanka too is on the path to becoming a super aged society. And so it is estimated by, I'm referring to the last line, by 2030, 1 in 5 people, just like India, it will be above the age of 60. So this sets us to think as to what are we going to do as citizens, as policymakers, as researchers, as academicians, as students to address the needs of elderly people. Now, what will happen if the population is aging, all over the globe, and especially in South Asia? What will be the implications? As one of you rightly said, that it is going to impact on the economy of the country, economy of the South Asia, because the workforce will not be there. So yes, that is going to be one of the challenges that we will be facing. Another challenge will be that the oldest old. So there are 3 cohorts. There are 3 groups. One is young old, middle old, and old old. So young old is 65 to 74. Middle old are people between 75 to 84. And the oldest old are 85 and above. So this is the classification of, older adults. Now, if the population is increasing and there is more and more medical and technological advancement, the 80 plus cohort is going to rise. Okay. Another phenomenon which we are seeing and which we are witnessing is feminization of aging. Means more women, older women are going to be there. rural aging, a large population of our country, they stay in rural areas. So rural aging is another phenomenon. Changing family dynamics. So definitely family dynamics will change when people are living for longer. Increased elder abuse and neglect. So because of the family dynamics, there can be an increase in elder abuse and neglect. Higher old age dependency ratio. Why? Because the 80 plus population is increasing, and therefore higher old age dependency ratio will be seen. Escalating healthcare and pension cost. Pension is not available to everybody. Accessibility to healthcare is a big challenge, especially for people who are staying in rural areas. And lastly, impact on labor supply and economic growth. As one of you said, it may reduce labor participation because less labor participation, no savings, no pensions is definitely going to slow down the economic productivity of country. However, there is still a ray of hope for us. Whenever there is darkness, and also you see on the other side there is light. So there is also an opportunity for us amongst all these challenges as to how to harness this demographic dividend, how to invest in policy and make the system prepared to welcome this population. Okay. With improved health and longevity, definitely the older adults can contribute. They can work. They can be part of the workforce if we and the policies allow them to be. Encouraging community-based models because of the drifting, family systems and family values. I think more concentration or emphasis could be on how can family be the primary caregivers, which they have been traditionally. Community volunteers, investment in making or developing community volunteership, creating an environment where aged people, or making the environment aged friendly, can also be another opportunity for us. So let us look at what this person from UNFPA has said about the population aging, and this I have taken from one of the research reports. The regional advisor says that countries often see population aging as a burden, yet population aging is an achievement. It is a triumph of country, especially because it reduces mortality and enables women to have more choices in life. So this is a very powerful statement, for me, because it is allowing or giving opportunities for women to explore their lives, to be out there, to be part of, the economy of the country. So, and therefore we need to see this whole phenomenon of population aging in a very positive manner. So I spoke about feminization of aging, which is a phenomenon that is being witnessed now. So if you see this, if you see the ratio of older women per 100 older women is so different. So from 1990 to 2030, which is projected, do you see the difference? So this is the figures that you see is older men. So against 100 older women, we will see 62, if you see from the right, 62, 52, 39. So the yellowish one is the data from 1990 and the greenish one is 2030. So you see there will be only 62 older men against 100 older women, which means that women outlive men. Even if they're not in a very healthy state and they easily get succumb to a lot of illnesses and diseases, yet they outlive men. And that's the data, and that's the research, and that's the reality. I have particularly taken this Sri Lankan feminization of aging. And if you see on the right hand side, the female scenario, and on left hand side, and on the y axis, the age groups are there, and down the percentages. So if you compare the female versus male, the percentages, you will see that there is an increase in the female sides. Say, for example, from the top, if you see from the top notch, against 0.0 older men, you will find 0.1% of women. Okay. And that the age group is between 90 to 94. So similarly, you can just glance through 85 to 89 in that age cohort. You will have 0.3% older women as compared to 0.2% older men. So this is going to be the trend for Sri Lanka. Okay. This was, no, it's not, this data is 2022. So, we have already reached here. Now in 2050, we'll have to see that more, and the trend will show that more older women will surpass older men. So what are the implications? If we find and if we see that there are older women, more older women than older men, what is going to happen? What is the trend and what are the challenges that we are going to face? And these are some of the challenges that I have put on the slide. It is not an exhaustive list. You can add on to, to this discussion and discourse. But then this is what I have seen and what I have read from different papers. So the first one is longevity and population imbalance. So definitely from the previous slide also, you could see that there is an imbalance, gender imbalance. And we see that women tend to outlive men, isn't it? Which means that higher proportion of older women are there, particularly 80 and above. So researchers have said that there are more than 10 women for every 6 men. So the more they live, the more they face ill health, or some disabilities or some different other challenges. So that is going to be a major problem, major challenge for people. Then educational disparity. Any idea what does it mean? Educational disparity. How is this going to be there? Educational disparity. Do we see educational disparity even in different age cohorts for women? Don't we see that? Yes. So in less developed regions, older women and also, younger women, they experience high illiteracy rate, isn't it? They are highly, the percentage of women, educated women or literate women is less as compared to men because of the socio-economic environment that we live in. And this limits their access to health services, to employment, because they're not educated, they are not literate, they are not part of the employment scenario. And also about social protection. When there is no education, no social protection, no money. And these disparities continue to contribute to economic insecurity. And further marginalization of women happens. So it's a double jeopardy for women. Older, one is age, and then no non-literate or illiterate. We don't call it illiterate, it is non-literate, and no employment and no money. What about the labor market inequalities? So when it comes to labor market inequalities, women encounter more barriers to employment.
Yes,
Because,
ma'am.
because they are the primary caregivers, and because of the social
And
structure
they
of,
are not allowed to like work outside
yes,
in most of the
exactly,
places.
exactly, because The idea is that they should be the primary caregivers for family. They should take care of children and things like that. And that's the social structure. And therefore, not many women, take up jobs and employment. So what happens? So this results in lower earnings, isn't it? And also financial problems, and especially for women in old age, and especially when
Yes,
they are
ma'am.
going to outlive also. They're living longer than men. So, then
Hmm.
the problem of the finances will arise. So one of the research says that in lower income countries, 24.9% of women are out of labor force as compared to 16.6% men, which is limiting their ability to save and accumulate pension benefits. Yeah. So this is so obvious. Now, what is unpaid care work? I think there's so much of discussion around unpaid care work, isn't it? Even in India, we are having a lot of discussion on this area. So women always bears the burden of unpaid domestic and family care, which is not counted,
Yes,
isn't it?
ma'am.
Yeah, it's not
Yes.
counted. Yeah. So there are discussions around how to make this also as a very paid and productive work. During COVID times, it was seen that older women, 60 plus and above, they reported increased unpaid care work. And I'm sure you must have witnessed, you must have seen older women, juggling and doing all the household courses and chores and taking care of family, and because everybody was at home. Um, and for people who were ill at home, uh, in-laws, and also the burden comes on women. So this highlights the persistent gendered nature of caregiving. So despite seeing I mean often being seen as care recipients, many older women provide essential care. So they need care, but we often see that they are still doing the work of providing essential care for others. Um, and then this becomes a big challenge when the women also um, grows old. What about health vulnerabilities? So we
As you
see,
said,
yeah,
ma'am,
yeah.
as you said earlier, that they are not like literate. So most of the people
Um,
are not aware of that. And secondly, as they are not literate, they are not working, so they don't have much like money. So they are mostly dependent on their
yeah,
others. So that's
yeah,
why they face
that's true.
most of the health vulnerabilities.
Correct. And they are not the ones who will immediately report about their illnesses to family members. So they kind of
Yes,
cover
ma'am.
things. Yeah.
Hmm.
For them, other things takes priority, more than their health. So this is what happens. And then in when they age, it is said that higher rates of chronic illnesses and disabilities, I mean, they face them more than older men. And because of other economic reasons and social reasons, they are not in the forefront of accessing any health care. So that is the health vulnerability that we can see. Increased risk of abuse. This is another challenge and a big challenge, and therefore, more old age homes and this kind of setups are coming in place, because with no men around, the identity of women is always associated with the man of the family. And when the man is not around, this the widowed women, the older women, loses her identity in the family. And many a times it is seen that this causes increased risk of abuse for the older women. um, and we have seen this through different researchers and in realities too. Social exclusion, especially for women who are staying in institutional setups or who are staying alone. So there is very limited socialization. There is social isolation. There is neglect. because of age and because of other criterias that the women may have. So social exclusion is another phenomenon that is seen. Intersectional barriers is what I was talking about. So people who are from lower socio-economic status, who are poor, or of a different religion, of a different caste, they will face a lot of issues because this adds on to the ageism. Rural vulnerabilities, people in developing countries and also in transitional economies, aging population you will see are more prominent in rural areas. And therefore, accessibility to many things like employment, education, workforce, participation in economic activities is very limited. So that's another challenge that we may see. But again, a very positive contribution can also be there, and opportunities also can be made for older women because of some of the things that I have noted it here. So they can be productive and experienced workforce. And why do I say this? Do you think that they can be productive, and can they be part of the economic growth?
Ma'am, as you said that this so age group, which is the young old, they can,
Hmm.
I think, ma'am, but the
Hmm.
old they will not be able to do physical like work.
Physically, I'm sure some limitations, but again, it's not a blanket thing. I would like to tell you that in my present gerontology program, an 80-year-old lady has enrolled. And in all my classes over a decade, I've seen that at least 2 or 3 students are above 70 years of age. So this is again a myth that they cannot contribute or they are not worthy of it. They have huge skills and expertise. And this is what the mindset change we have to bring, and we have to work towards this. Um, you may have heard about healthy concepts of healthy aging, positive aging, successful aging. So it is all about that. My own mother, at an age of 73 now, is super active, and she is a caregiver. I mean, we think that she should be taken care of, but she is the one who's taking care of everyone in the house. And and older people are, wealth of wisdom. They have a lot of experience, they have a lot of skills, and this is what they can bring in when it comes to economic growth and productivity. There is this silver economy, which is another phenomenon, which means that services and goods related to older adults, which will be seen in the market now. We will need more geriatric care workers. We will now see, or will need more gerontologists in the society, because that is what is going to happen. So this is also creating opportunities for entrepreneurship, for skilled workers of a different kind. What is intergenerational solidarity? What do you understand by this? Do you know this intergenerational phenomenon? The relationship between younger age and older people? Do you think they gel well, the older generation and the younger generation in the families also, your grandpas, grandmothers? What kind of a relationship do you have between them? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it meaningful? Yeah. So the younger
Yes,
gen,
ma'am.
the
Yes,
bond
ma'am.
between younger generation and the older generation is beautiful, and we need to keep that intact. Okay. They may have certain strengths. We may have, as young people, have certain strengths, and we need to take opportunities and benefit from the expertise, from the skills, and from the knowledge that they have. So it is said that older people, they contribute to economy through formal, informal work, through consumption, through intergenerational wealth transfers, tax contribution, everything. Because in many houses, in many families, older women serve as primary caregivers for grandchildren, isn't it? Especially in Indian
Yes,
scenario.
ma'am.
Yeah. So
Ma'am,
when,
working
yes,
when
exactly.
both parents are working.
Yes, when both parents are working, there are grandparents at home who are taking care of grandchildren. But this is not a paid thing, isn't it? So, and therefore
Yes,
we need
ma'am.
to look at all these things as to how this can also be um, a window for us to be and to make an environment which is inclusive of such people. What about leadership, civic participation, decision making? Women are leaders in their own self. They are the ones who participate in all the civic activities. Many a times they are decision makers. If you have studied about self-help groups, self-help groups are a very powerful groups in Indian scenario. They are leaders, um, and they also there we have also seen many older women participating in civic things, protecting trees, and there are so many things like sanitation, campaigning for sanitation and things like that. So they are leaders, but only thing is that we have not seen them as leaders. Okay, we have not made efforts to include them into the decision making process. We have not made efforts to include them into the policy making. Okay. Older women as key actors in sustainability. If you see women from coastal areas, they are very much informed about so many indigenous systems, indigenous knowledge, strategy, especially when it comes to climate resilience, when it comes to disasters. They have so much of knowledge, and they can play a very vital role in this kind of scenarios, even agriculture, conservation. So they are and they can be a key contributors to this area. However, we have excluded them because of ageism. We have been neglecting their needs. We have been undervaluing their wisdom and strength. They are very resourceful. We only need to include them into the larger society. So this is what is another important quote, which says that gender. Okay, I'm exceeding my time. I'll just finish it in 5 minutes. So this quote talks about feminization of aging, which must be addressed through a life cycle approach. So please read, look at what is lifestyle approach, life cycle approach, because this approach is needed not just for older women but also for older men. So lifespan approach or life cycle approach is something a framework by which we can address some of the issues of older adults. Now, what is the policy and practice response? So in India, there are policies on older adults, but the trust on gender lens needs to be there. Many older women are not part of pension systems, and that we need to very explicitly talk about older women and pension systems. Even in Sri Lanka, you have a very progressive National Elders Act, but it is seen that, and it has been reported that it is under implemented. You have very promising practices there, like women's collectives, digital inclusion, elder daycare centers are there, but it's just that we need to be more aware of this, and we need to make people aware of the rights of older women, and make an age-friendly environment. Um, And this is the last thing that I want to say, that the feminization of aging reflects not only women's longer lives, but also deep societal structures, the economic inequality, caregiving roles, weaker pensions, living older women, especially vulnerable. Yeah. So it's critical for policymakers and health systems to prioritize targeted strategies. And